I think I hit record. Let's get it.
Wow.
There's a REC at the top right of my screen.
There you
What's
go.
up,
That's
big?
confirmation.
What's popping, man? How y'all doing?
What's going on, guys?
Yo, I just feel like we had like a whole little pre-conversation. It was just flowing so well.
It was.
We don't got the time limit because we're cheap asses. So 40-minute cap today. But we're here with my brother, Dro.
Yo, 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 yo.
We're here with my other brother, Jeremiah, the God.
Hello, everyone.
Did anybody like fuck up your name? Jeremiah or Jeremy? Like what is Jeremy?
I fucking hate the name Jeremy, but
And they say Jeremy?
yeah. Or I worked for one guy and he was calling me Jermaine. And I was like, that doesn't even sound close.
He did not even hear you.
No, I was
Yo.
like Jeremiah, and he's like Jermaine, and I was like Jeremiah, and he's like, okay, Jermaine.
Yo, I hate people like
Jeremiah's
that.
like a
Bro, I was
prophet
at
name, though. Like, that's in the Bible and shit. So I feel like motherfuckers would know that.
Exactly. But
Jeremiah. That's hard. I was at Tropical Smoothie, and there was two, like a lady, like a mom.
Yo, you upgraded it.
What?
You upgraded the time limit?
No, I didn't.
It says the meeting has been upgraded by the host. And now it includes
Hey,
unlimited minutes.
I'm gonna be sick.
Hey, man, just keep the ball rolling. But it doesn't look like we're capped. I don't know. Jeremiah, did you get that?
no, I just seen the three of us on my phone.
All right, fuck it. I'll take it.
I'm about to get charged OD. I'm gonna be sick. So I was at Tropical Smoothie with a mom, right? It looked like she was a mom. And then there was like another teenager, but she was a girl. So there's three of us in there, two girls, and then me. And then the dude comes out, I was like, Dante? And I was like, and then like, he's like, and then he says my order. I'm like, oh, it's me. And like, it's Ant. I always like A-N-T. I don't know where the fuck they got Dante from, but yeah, man. Jeremiah,
Dude,
what's up?
whenever I make like an order and they ask for my name, I always give them either my dog's name or whoever I'm with. I never give my name.
You know what I'm gonna start doing? I'm gonna start giving my middle name, which I started the other day. Because I feel like I have a middle name and I don't use it for anything. So
Once again, you know that.
Makes sense. That
so
makes
what's your
sense.
middle name? Antonio.
Yeah,
Right?
if you're talking about me, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. What's about you?
Mine's,
If I ever
mine's
hear that,
Carlos.
yeah, if I ever hear
Carlos?
my middle name, I'm getting yelled at. I'm about to get my ass roasted.
That's a fact,
Yeah.
man.
Whenever I heard Jeremiah, I was like, oh, fuck. But
That's lit, man.
because I get called, my dad calls me Pa or Jay. So
Yo,
whenever
I
I
call
hear my
everybody
name,
Pa or Papa.
I know when you called me that, I was like, oh, this is my boy right here.
Yo, I do that all the time. All sorts of people. Everybody at the store. I don't go fuck. I be calling motherfuckers Pa. It's like a term of I feel like so if you realize in like this, I don't know if you follow like Spanish like singers, they all love each other, bro. They fucking call each other papi. They fucking send hearts. It's like kissy faces. I love yous. It's like not as thug, or that's not the right term. I was thinking about Young Thug. I was just listening to him earlier. It's not as hard as people like. I don't know. They don't. I feel like in the rap world, they don't really. I don't know what the fuck. I don't even care. I'm not.
No, I hear it.
No,
It's
it
not like
makes sense.
hyper masculine. Like we're okay with like showing some affection or saying papi and shit like that without it being
100%.
weird. Yeah.
Nah, I love the bros, bro. I kiss all my niggas on the cheek. I give them hugs. I love my guys, man. Yeah, send me to my little podcast. We're here today, joined by the God. And particularly, I wanted to hit Jeremiah up because of this whole quarantine situation. I've known Jeremiah for a few months now. Met him at
Bro, it's
Muay
been a
Thai.
year.
Yeah, almost, right?
No, it's been a year. I've been back for
Oh
a
shit,
year now.
yeah. And he's kicked my ass plenty of times in sparring, and he's always helped me out with technique and shit. And one thing I appreciate about you is your mind. I like to
Thank you,
surround
man.
myself with people who inspire me. I'm not someone who's afraid to show love to my people. And
Mhm.
I feel like with you, do I know every little aspect about you? No. Have we had every little dark, deep, secret conversation about our lives? No. But I've been around you enough to appreciate your mind and your mindset. Whatever got you to that point, you know, maybe you discuss one day, maybe we won't, and that's fine. But you are different, bro, in the sense that there's a lot of people I've been around and they're just not, or maybe they don't show it, but I never met somebody so optimistic. And again, I'm sure you have your days, right?
Mhm. Of
But
course, of course. I'm still human.
on a consistent level, bro, I really appreciate your presence and your mind.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
And I want to talk to you today about this whole quarantine shit because instead of being you, I feel like out of all people, you would be somebody who turned this into a positive. So talk to me about how this been, man.
Bro, so when this like first happened, I remember it was a Monday, March 16th, is when my dad sent me the news that the gyms were gonna be closed at 8, and I was like, nah. I was like, nah. I was like, gyms are gonna be good, but I remember after that, like Rebel closed, all the fitness centers closed, and I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna get fat. I was like, I'm
It's
just
like
gonna eat. I'm
real
not gonna
quick.
work out.
Let me just interject real quick. Explain to the people what you do and how you and Tony met, just in case people are clicking in for the first time. They don't know our history.
So me, I'm a Muay Thai fighter, aspiring Muay Thai fighter, and I've been in martial arts for 9 years, and for about like a year, well, 2 years, I've been training twice a day, and in one day I train for I think a total of 4.5 hours, like with running, strength and conditioning, pad class. I go to 2 classes a day, noon classes and 2 classes at night, Monday through Friday. Saturday, I go to 2 classes and I run before that. And then Sunday, I take 2 classes also. And me, Anthony, and Melvin, and my other boy, Manny, we do hill sprints. And so I have to be forced to take a rest day because I keep going. You know, I'm always hungry. I'm never really satisfied with where I'm at. And that's something I kind of dawned on me after my last fight. But, I train very vigorously. And so
I feel like that point is extremely important. Like we know, and Anthony obviously knows more because you guys train together. We know what the fuck you do, and your work ethic, just in seeing you, is fucking crazy. How often you train, and then for something like quarantine to hit and stay at home orders, how has that life been? Like now, I'll let you resume, just because I feel like we gotta put some justice by your name because you are a
yeah.
hardworking motherfucker that does a lot, and that you just do. You're very self-driven, which I respect, which is crazy.
Thank you, man.
So now let's put that into perspective. Now we're stay-at-home order. We're like 2 months in. Like, how has your time been? Like, how do you keep yourself driven? Talk to us about that.
So I remember the first 2 weeks, the first like week and a half, I was just doing DoorDash and just not training. I wasn't running. I'd wake up like whenever I wanted, and it got to a point where I was waking up before this quarantine. I was waking up at like 4:30, like just to go work out before work. And then in the quarantine, I was waking up at 11:30, and I would wake up, and a week in, I was like, there's no structure in my life. And because there was no structure, I started to gain a little bit of weight. It was nothing crazy, but I didn't have my abs. I wasn't as defined, and I just felt my energy like plummet just throughout the day. And so I was listening to a lot of David Goggins in his book, Can't Hurt Me. And just his story kind of made me put my own life into perspective. And so just hearing his story, I'm not going to give too much because I'd love for you guys and whoever's watching this to read or listen his book, Can't Hurt Me. But I decided one day, I looked myself in the mirror and I was like, you're a worthless piece of shit. You're a weak bitch because you got yourself here. And we know what we're capable of. And there's no fucking excuse. And I straight up was telling myself this. I have a whiteboard that says, "Don't be a fucking pussy," on my board. So that way I remind myself daily to just
That's hard.
keep going. Yeah, man. Don't be a fucking pussy. And I tell myself that, and I call myself, just like how, you know, we train at, and you hear me like, yo, come on, that's what you got? Like, let's go,
Yeah.
Jeremiah. I still do that. And it's just, now it's to make me work when there's no place to work at.
Right.
You know, so after the first week and a half, 2 weeks, I ate all the bad food, and I was like, I can't let this go to waste. So I ate all the bad food, and it hurt. It was like 2 quarts of ice cream and 2 bags of chips and a box of cookies.
Quarts of ice cream. What's the ice cream of choice?
Mint, but I got some chocolate chip. It's so good. I can't even. It's the first time I ever got chocolate ice cream, to be honest, and it's really good. But I'm more disciplined now.
Yeah, mint is like such an underrated flavor, but
it is. It really is.
I would like
so,
mint for those Girl Scout cookies. I forget what was that. I forgot what the fuck that is.
Mints?
Thin mints. Yeah, thin mints is fire. Yeah.
The peanut butter ones, man. You can never go wrong with those.
Tagalongs, which is fire.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck yeah. So.
And so, but.
Oh yeah. No, you're good.
And so I just remember when I started to like call myself, like when I started to be like my own drill sergeant, you know, I was just like, yo, like, what the fuck? Like, is this it? Like what are we doing? And then I thought, like, had I continued down the path I was going in the beginning of this quarantine, I was like, when things go back to normal, I'm going to be completely fucked. And that's no one else's fault other than my own. And so I was like, I'm not trying to feel that way because I felt that way. I've let myself down knowingly, and I tried to like pretend that it wasn't, but I kept it real with myself. I was like, nah. I was like, we're gonna be this weak piece of shit, and I'm tired of being that. You know, I'm just sick and tired of being sick and tired. You know, and that's really what it boiled down to. I was like, I'm tired of having to start back up. You know, I was on a good roll. I had momentum high, like I was training, and I was like, in a week and a half, you know, things fucking changed. I was like, I can't do much. And so I remember I ran 6 miles, and I had never run more than 5 ever in my life. And so after that time, I kept myself accountable. I was like, I'm gonna run right now. And instead of thinking about it, I just did it. And it fucking sucked every second, because I went from not training to doing more miles than I ever did. Granted, it was 1 more mile, but it was 1 more mile than I ever did. And then I remember just that first day, I felt who I was kind of come back, like the fit Jeremiah come back and everything. And then with that came the mindset of like a champion, of a fighter, of someone who has a great work ethic, backed by the self accountability I got from David Goggins' book. And so since then, man, I went to Walmart. I got myself a pull-up bar, the Iron Gym. I try to do 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups a day, and some ab rolling. But I do that, and I ride my bike. Like you guys saw me yesterday, I ride everywhere. I try to ride everywhere.
Yeah, you pulled up on us yesterday.
Yeah, we was getting a little backyard workout in at the middle school.
Mm-hmm. Yo, when I saw you guys, I was like, shit, I want to go get my gloves.
Yo, man.
Bro, I didn't even have my shit either.
Like, you said it before, and I guess we can all talk about it because, you know, we're not getting too deep into shit, but we're very big on health and fitness. Me and Tony always keep each other in check. Like, you know, we look at our weight and our figure, and, you know, in the
I'm
past
nowhere where I have to be.
Yeah. And it's you're comfortable with your skin. Like there's a lot of self-love that we do, and we talk to each other and we talk to ourselves, which is really important. But the biggest thing about quarantine, which is crazy, and you said it, was like no one's on top of you. Like you're responsible for your own self-development. And it's like you knew that, but like, you know, you got your 9 to 5, you got your classes, if you do jits, Muay Thai, whatever, you know, you got your personal life. But then now it's like, take all that away, you're alone. No one is on your back. No one is telling you to go run laps. So it's like, do I stay here and develop these bad habits, wake up at 12, 1 o'clock, eat my daily, you know, my Uber Eats at McDonald's every day? Like, what the fuck do I do? And I myself had that awakening. Is like, the first couple of weeks is cool because it's like you're back in high school almost, where like you just don't really care about anything
Not doing
anymore.
shit.
Exactly.
Yeah, like it felt
That's a
very
fact
liberating.
right there.
It felt very good. Like, I don't have anyone on my back. I can bullshit all day. I can play my video games. I can watch my movies. And then a week goes by.
But
Yeah.
you can't beat yourself up about that, though.
Of course.
Not to say you did. I mean, you realized that you were going down a certain path, and you're like, I like what you said when you're like, well, I can't let this go to waste, because you still enjoyed yourself. You realize the problem. You're like, you know what, like, it is what it is. I'm here now. It's just time to fix it. So it seems like you didn't really punish yourself too much in the sense that you're not dwelling over it right now. You know what I'm saying? You're not like, oh my God, 2 weeks. Like, so it is important, I think, to also mention that yes, you realized was wrong, but also, like, you know, I mean, there's only so much you can beat yourself up about. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's important for people who do find themselves beating themselves up, that, you know, as long as you do some self digging and some acknowledgement, and you can definitely change the circumstance. Fitness, life,
Absolutely.
It's like
not
it's just like adaptability, though. It's like, how do you adapt to
not
these
easy.
times? You know, you don't have access to a gym. You don't got your bags handy to you. So it's like, what the fuck do you
But
do? You
let me
know?
play like devil's advocate here, because like, as somebody who wants to get his life together, bro, like, I'm in such a weird place where, like, I want so much to change, and you realize the problem and you want to change it, but just for argument's sake, um just, and to give a little insight to people who might be stuck, what are some ways that I get over that thing? Because it's so easy to, like, make those excuses. You know how hard it is to get up and go run? Like,
No,
bro, it's like, but like, for somebody who doesn't, maybe has that crazy work ethic like you.
bro, you don't need a crazy work ethic.
What
You
it,
just need
what pushes you?
me.
I guess, like, what
I have to.
what are
I
your
want,
successes? Like, how do you? What makes you wake up and it's like, all right, bet, let me wake up at 6 a.m. and then let me go run? Like, how do you mentally
bro.
process it?
So we all have a voice in our head. You know, when our alarm goes off, there's two. There's one that's loud and there's one that's quiet. And I found that most times we all listen to the voice that's loud, like, oh, fuck this snooze button. But then there's that little one that's like, get up. But because it's not intriguing, it doesn't whet our appetite. You know, it's like, oh, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. And that's what makes me like wake up and do it. It was like, I know no one wants to do it, so I'm gonna do it. And I know that I know that I didn't do it. And because I saw where it got me by not taking action, it was like, I don't want to get there. You know, I don't want to complain that I'm out of shape, or I'm out of breath when I'm running, or that I can't do this, I can't do that. And again, in one thing, David Goggins' book, man, he says the only limitations we have are the ones we put on ourselves. And so there's nothing that like literally stops me that is like, yo, how do you get past that? I wake up, my alarm goes off,
You just
I
do
say,
it.
fuck. Yeah. And I put my feet on the ground, you know, and that's it.
It
And
could be
then
so
I
simple.
fight every urge to go back to sleep, every urge. And it hurts, man. Like, I'll wake, bro, it hurts so much. Like waking up and like just getting my dog off my bed, and it's early as shit and I see no one else out there. And I'm like, yo, why do I gotta do this? Like, why am I doing this to myself? And I was like, well, what's gonna make me different from, not that I'm even in competition with anyone else, but it makes me realize, like, holy shit, like when I'm done, then I'm like, damn, most people, especially during this quarantine, are still asleep. And I just finished a 6-mile run, you know, or like yesterday, someone was like, oh no, I get out at 6:30 from work. I'm like, yo, fuck that job. You know, like you got to put yourself first, because one thing I realized is I had a job as a trainer, and when shit got tough, they let people go. And so that's how I look at circumstances with with everything. You know, with what was going on, I told myself, I always tell myself, you have two choices. You can either fold under pressure, right? Or like, how was a diamond made? By immense pressure.
Oh yeah.
You know, so I told myself, it was like, I can either fold like a fucking lawn chair again to my circumstances, or I can put myself under more pressure when there's already enough pressure. And then when everything ends, like, because this quarantine's going to end, like this lockdown's going to end, you know, because if not, people are going to go crazy, but that's besides the point. And so what kind of like drives me is, honestly, it's kind of sadistic, but I want to see when everything goes back to normal and people are going back to the gym, I want to see some people suffer and be like, oh, this is so hard, or complain. And then there's me banging out pull-ups, you know, doing rounds and rounds. And they're like, yo, like, how did you do this? And it was like, well, while you decided to fucking sleep in, I decided to get up. You know, like, you could do the same thing. It's just, it's a choice. It's a choice. It's a choice to either fold or to keep going under pressure. And in the beginning, I folded real quick. The first time, bro, I did not train that night, and I wish I did, you know, but I had clients. And the first thing I did was I went to ShopRite and I got 2 things of ice cream, cookies. I ordered pizza. I went in. And I was like, I ain't training. I was like, I don't got to look good for anyone because I'm single. I ain't training. I was like, I'm just going to stay home and do whatever. You know, but that's not who Jeremiah is, like, to the core. You know, Jeremiah likes pushing past, like, physical stress, mental stress. Like, I love being in uncomfortable situations. Like, Ant, when you saw me running the other day, like,
Hold on. It's fucking, I haven't seen this motherfucker, right? We've talked here and there, but I haven't, like, actually seen him. Now, he doesn't live too far from me. And I've never seen him even before, like even we're, like, actually hanging out, and I've never seen him, like, just randomly on the street. So here I am in my driveway. I had to go drop some shit out, whatever I was doing. And then it's like one of those days, it was like around, like, almost like 8 o'clock at night. So it was like still sunny out. Not sunny, but, you know, it was coming down. And
it was raining that day, bro.
It was definitely raining. It was like cloudy and raining, but there was light out. And then I turn around and I see it's just a bearded man, shirtless, running. And then I do a double take. I'm like, that's fucking Jeremiah. So he runs past. I had to do what I had to do, and I get in my car. As I'm like driving, I was like, yo, I beeped. And he saw me, and then I pulled over, whatever. We had a conversation, but
bro, I was so happy when I saw you. I was so happy.
I was so stoked. That shit was
because
crazy,
you're my
though.
boy. I miss like you, like your presence, man. The reason why I got into martial arts was to kind of like be the beacon of hope for a lot of people that feel hopeless or whatever, but also that are just like, damn, like I want to be around this person, you know, because I was never that person.
And in the gym, it's huge. The gym is like
and
a
in
whole
the gym,
ball game, yeah.
Exactly. And I had a sports psychiatrist, and she's also like a member of Rebel, but she goes to the other location. And she came one Saturday, I think either Saturday or Sunday, and she was like, you're like the rock star here. Like, you're the person everyone wants to be around. And I'm like, am I? I was like, I'm just saying what's up to people, and just, you know, people ask me questions. So I say what's up to everybody, even when like there's no one in, like it's someone's first time in class. I'm like, hey man, I'm Jeremiah. You know, just that's just who I am.
It's genuine. Like, people can sense that's not fake, and it's like when you can sense like real energy, it's like you make class better, and it's more enjoyable. But it's also serious work which is always needed at the gym.
Always serious.
When
Yeah,
you get
and
to
like
say fuckhead, it turns left real quick because then it's like counterproductive. Like, why am I here? I'm here to drill and die and cry while having fun with my teammates. You know.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and like going back to what you were saying, that choice waking up, yes, it's definitely a choice, and it's definitely a hard one. And you
Super.
know, for anybody out there, including myself and Joe, I know he got shit to work on, but everybody listening is like, you have the David Goggins and you have the Jeremiahs, so don't be discouraged that if you're just on this new journey, that is not coming to you easy, and you're gonna have your rough days. And if you don't, let's just take fitness for example, right? Um, it's tough. You're gonna fall off that horse. OD. We have to get back up and making those choices. If, let's say you want to start running, even if you go outside and I think at least if you run, if all you can do is 10 minutes, then don't beat yourself up. Do those 10 minutes. Get
Mm-hmm.
back up the next day. Go for 11. Go for 12. And like eventually you progress to a point. I think people get discouraged in the beginning because one, they don't see immediate results. Um,
And it fucking sucks.
even beyond fitness, they don't see where. And then, but it is a tough. Like I'm not gonna sit here and
I mean,
act like
let's
it's so
give our
easy. It's just like
perspectives. Like, how have you been? How's your fitness journey been? Is it 2 months we've been in quarantine, or is it 3? I forget.
me
I think it's just in
Coming up
total.
on 3.
coming up on
Coming up
3.
on 3 months. So like, let's talk about ourselves. Like, how are you doing in your journey?
Me? Oh
Me?
well, terrible. um, as far as like I'm just trying to gauge like everything, and it wasn't going good at all, and it was to the point where, you know, same thing. I had that break, and I'm still working, so like I'm still going home, and then I'm like, okay, something's happening here. Um, I know I've gained a lot of weight in the last like probably like 2 years to what I was, and especially now that there's no gym and I was forced to be home after work, there was a lot less eating out because obviously the restaurants and shit are closed and you can still take out. But so I'm like, something's happening here. I always am sluggish because I'm always eating out, right? So now is a perfect opportunity for me not to eat out, and I've been saving mad money doing that, and I haven't been eating out as much as I definitely do. And I'm just like, okay, now that you got this down pack, now let's get so for me, it started with the food, and it's like now that you got a more manageable schedule where you're cooking more, now let's get this workout shit. And I'm taking it easy every now and then. You know, I go and I run and I go to the school and I do some push-ups, pull-ups. I run around, I run back home. So I did have that moment where I'm just like, all right, shit's cool. I'm just cooling, not doing a damn thing. But then you start feeling like, okay, nah, something hasn't get done. Like I'm not just gonna sit here and there's no excuse to not get this journey started. So I'm making
No
that
excuse.
transition now.
It's
I
like,
have. Mhm.
yeah, my bad. You can go.
Now you go, Joe. You go.
Nah, I was just trying to say, like, for as many negatives, let's say, quarantine can bring upon our lives, it also comes in a lot of positives. And it's like,
Mhm.
I've had a lot of time to address myself and lingering demons that are in my brain, and I'm very grateful because I can actually have a conversation with myself and understand when I'm not happy and like why I'm not happy, as opposed to like putting it under a rug and like hanging out with you guys and just bullshit and forgetting about me. So it's
Mhm.
awesome to like have this time alone, and it's like, damn, Dro, like what's going on, bro? Like you're not creating as much, so blah blah blah. Couple months in, I fix all that. I'm creating more,
Right.
I'm thinking more. It's awesome. And then like now, a big inspiration for me is I don't know if you guys enjoy basketball, but it's watching the Last Dance documentary on
I haven't
ESPN Plus,
watched it.
bro. If
I
you
haven't.
listen,
Michael Jordan shit.
Michael Jordan, fuck being a basketball player. His determination and his mindset, because being a '90s baby, you obviously we know who he is and the icon that he is, but I
But
didn't
we
really
weren't.
like understand how he was as a person. And I think both of you guys, especially you, Jay, like you would appreciate his mindset, his determination, and his drive. Because he is no bullshit. He is like, when I go in the room, I'm whooping all your asses. You know, like when I come in the room, like work out, train. Why are you drinking, Dennis Rodman? Why are you going out the night before? Yeah, you fucking suck because you didn't fucking train, bitch. And like he would say it in this way, and it's just like, you know, as I forgot Goggins, you said, like the way, like, you know, like he's speaking, it's like the fuck, like, yeah, like train to be fucking better, train to beat my ass. Like, you're not gonna do shit to me. I work hard for this every single day. This ain't easy. It's like, fuck, bro.
I'm sorry, guys. Give me 1 second.
No, you good, you
I'm
good.
already
And
barking at nothing.
just watching this fucking documentary, I'm like, bro, why am I not going out? Why am I not training? Why am I not working out with fucking Tony or myself? Why can't I adapt and do crunches and push-ups and shadow work? And it's like, watching that documentary just put me 180. Like, yo, I need to go out and do more. Like, I'm just sitting on my ass not doing shit. And I would highly suggest you guys watching that documentary because it just makes your mindset go crazy.
Yeah, I heard about it. I haven't like tuned into it. I'm a piece of shit when it comes to watching shit, bro. I'm always on like watching random.
What are you
shit
doing?
on
You're not like, what are you watching?
Yo, I go on like I watch just like podcasts and shit on YouTube. Like, it's all I really be doing. But I do hear that he was like an absolute winner. You hear the same about Kobe. There's just something. There's just some people out there, bro, who are just not. They just don't make excuses, and it's really interesting to get or like to hear about those people. And it's really inspiring because the reality is, let's just go back to food. It's so fucking good to go and smother yourself in Checkers. It's so good to eat that pizza, and for whatever reason, Brussels sprouts just don't hit the same, bro. And it just doesn't, and that's just a reality. And like, you know, I heard this on, I think it was Joe Rogan was saying, and it's like, yo, like, it's funny how like people are willing to like, and it's not verbatim, you know, like paraphrasing, but he said something like, yo, it's so crazy how people literally ruin their bodies for like a few minutes of mouth pleasure. Like, you eat all this bad food, and then you feel like, bro, when I eat Chinese food, I love that shit. I feel like a dirty slut after, bro. I feel like I just got gangbanged. I just feel so wrong and just I just feel so like sluggish and like, and then you start getting fucking fat, and then you hit a pothole and your titties do double dutch. Like, and you and you're just like, damn, like, what am I over some mouth pleasure? And it takes some discipline and some real life, like
that was funny.
just a mindset that you have to change it. But it's just not easy. It's not.
Right.
But there's the other side.
It's that voice.
There's the other side that, like Jeremiah is saying, that you have to tune in, and it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be hard. It's not gonna be easy at all. But you just have to get to it. And there's just the reality. There's no secret. There's really no.
There is none.
For hard work. And as somebody who's trying to improve in those areas in life, I do have my days where it's really tough. But I also have my days where I'm like, you know, doing the damn thing. So it's life, man. Life is weird. You just have to like gauge it.
You know, I feel like you just can't bullshit it. It has to be a lifestyle. Like, would you agree? Like, it's definitely a lifestyle thing. Like, you can't go in and out of this.
You can't half-ass this.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
you can't.
Fully in it.
Can you guys?
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. No, we got you.
So there's two really quick things. It's one thing Dro mentioned, how Michael Jordan would be like, I'm gonna outwork all of you guys, and that's the same thing with Kobe Bryant. Rest in peace. The Mamba mentality is work hard, harder than everyone, and so that's why I would run before class and everything, or I would do the sprints, and I would do that little more. So when people are like, "Yo, weren't you here this morning?" I'm like, "Yep." That, like, I like hearing that, because then that kind of tells me I outworked you already. You know, like,
right.
And that gives me
a mental edge or something, I guess.
Not even a mental edge. It just, I guess so, because I like hearing someone else say something that means I worked more than them. You know, because then we're like, I'm not, again, like I said yesterday, I'm not boasting, I'm not tooting my own horn when I say the hardest worker at Rebel. For the past year, I showed up early. I ran before class, and I did multiple classes, and I did all the requirements it took, you know, to where I was being told to take a rest, you know. So that was also a choice. Like, I didn't want to, in the beginning, I was like, well, actually, no, I was like, this is what I got to do. I'm doing it. You know, if this is what I got to do to get here, I'm doing it. And then to piggyback off what you said about food, and in one book I read, Why Buddhism is True, it talks about the instant gratification we get and how it's false instant gratification.
Oh,
You know,
for
like
sure.
good gratification is like completing a run, completing something that benefits us. And so it and I talked about this before. It was like, if I think after you have the food, or if you don't do this, like, think about the end result, because we don't think about the end result when we're shoving Taco Bell in our face. You know, we're thinking,
Nah,
get
but that
this
shit
in my
slap.
face, like
You
shove
ever
it
had a
in
cheesy
slit.
gordita crunch right out the fucking presses? God,
Bro.
shit fucking tastes amazing.
But and then we, like, after, when we're done, we're like, damn, I'm gonna have
Why do you think that
shit
is?
tomorrow.
Why do you think that what's bad tastes good?
It's like logic, I
Why
guess,
do you
right?
think
Bro,
that?
I
What is
have
it
food
like that
that's
life that just? Why do you think life is just set up that way, bro? It's just like
survival of the fittest.
temptation.
Yeah,
Survival of the fittest.
temptation sounds good.
Because I get tempted to eat pink lady apples.
I don't even know what the fuck.
No,
that
that's
is.
my temptation. You
You
know,
like specifically Pink Lady? Those
pink
are
lady
fire.
and the green ones. And so, like, that's like a temptatious dessert for me. You know, like, I'll have ice cream now, like, once in a while. You know, like, instead of eating the whole quart, I'll just take like a tablespoon and I'll shave like a little part, and I'll have that. And then I'm like, I'm gonna beat up some pink lady apples right now, and then I'll have like 5 in a sitting. You know, so that's my temptation
Yeah, and
is
like
fruit.
I guess it's like where you were going earlier, Joe, to talk about lifestyle. It is a lifestyle, and that's not to say that you can't enjoy that Taco Bell, you can't enjoy the ice cream. That definitely can happen, but you know, it just ultimately comes down to different choices that you just make, and it's hard. There's just no way around it. It's definitely hard, but it's also definitely doable. I feel like if you lock in, and there's been things in life that I switched, and it's been very beneficial to me. And there's also areas like my physique and choices with food that I still have to work on. But you know, you have to have that self acknowledgement, and you have to want it, and then from there you move forward. But it's like weird, man. It's weird. Like I hate to be this fucking like trying to have deep conversations all the fucking time, but I don't know it's because my age or not to
Not
say
bad.
I'm super
It's not
old,
bad.
but I realize that I just want more for myself, and I'm in that stage where it's like still struggling to get there because you know the results aren't there yet, but they will be. But like just as somebody going through it right now, it's weird. It's also it's cool. It's cool seeing that, wanting more and then doing it.
And then have not even just like having it, but then becoming it.
Right.
You
And
know,
you know,
and
like I
so
said, it hasn't been the smoothest ride for me at all.
no,
And sometimes I beat myself up and I'm just like, yo, like you wasted all this like time in the last like couple months. And like because I look at little choices I remember doing, I'm like, yo, had you done this, you wouldn't be where you're at right now. You know what I'm saying? So it's very important to one, acknowledge the problem, two, want it, and then three, you know, go through the trials of doing it. You know, and you're gonna have good days, you're gonna have bad days, but fuck, man, it's
bro,
such a
nothing.
simple, hard thing. You know what I'm saying?
It's like the
Yeah,
simplest thing,
it's because
honestly.
we make it so difficult on ourselves. And one thing, it's funny you say, like, not funny, like you saying like easy and like having it. It's like something worth having isn't gonna come easy, and something
Right.
easy isn't worth having. You know, think like the way I always told myself is like, and how you relate to food, I relate to sex. You know, like there was a point where I was just getting with girls and everything. I was just like one right after another. I would be in a relationship with one, and I was like, shit, this one wants to sleep with me. All right, bet I'll go be here. I'll do that, you know. So, but it was like, damn, like here I am, like sleeping with these women, but it's like I'm not trying to make these people like my partner.
Right.
You know, so it was like, and a partner isn't going to sleep with you the first night or the second night, you know, mainly most times. But for me personally, I was like, I can't see myself with somebody if I'm smashing cheeks that night or the first time we hang out, you know, because it was like, if it was this quick for someone else, if for me to get in these draws, you know, but so it was like, damn, like, but then there was one girl I was talking to and I was just like, shit, like, let's go out. She was like, all right, we'd go out. And then we'd go on another day and then another day. And I was like, yo, like,
make you chase it.
Exactly. And I hate chasing because I'm not a chaser, you know, I'm the liquor. But I was like, damn, like, because this girl's making it difficult for me, I want her more, you know, like not even just like her body or whatever. Like I want her mind. I want her mind with mine. I want her soul with mine. I want to grow with her to an extent. Like I wasn't thinking like longevity. I was just like, you know, but
it's like traditional partnership. Like
exactly.
it's not just about the body. It's about your mind, your essence, your aura that you're giving out. Right. Like you want to always be around that. And then obviously as human beings, we want to fucking mingle and shit. But I see what you're saying.
Yeah, man. You know, like man or girl, busting nut is one of the greatest feelings in the world.
100%.
You know, so we all want to do it. It's one thing I found for myself is like finding someone to have that moment with, you know. And what's funny enough is like during this whole thing, I spent a lot of time by myself and I deleted my social media, every social media.
I was gonna ask you what's it you're always a very active person, so like what made you not be so active?
Bro, social distancing from social media, trying to get away from people, you know, because I saw who I was becoming and I was like at a certain point I was posting a lot just to keep my people seeing something, even if it was just like a blue sky without any definite purpose. There were sometimes I was just like, I have to post this just cause. Or let me post this and post that. And then I was like, to a point where I was like, damn, if I don't post, like everything's gonna crumble. I'm gonna lose this, I'm gonna lose that, I'm gonna lose this. And then I was like, but in me doing this, I'm losing Jeremiah. Like in me doing all of this from my social media, I'm disconnecting from myself. And Conor McGregor, Jorge Masvidal, Floyd Mayweather, one thing I've noticed that they all have in common from being dominant athletes is they isolated themselves. So one story that really stuck with me was Masvidal. Like before his fight with Darren Till, he was on this
fucker right there.
Huh? Yo, he's a great guy. Like his fight with Kimbo, his fights
about the shits.
I think I lost you motherfuckers, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, Masvidal's a UFC fighter.
No.
The baddest motherfucker.
Yeah, shit wasn't frozen just now?
Nah.
Oh, damn. So I probably look mad stupid on your screen, like.
So, but
I was frozen. Nah, yeah, go ahead. Keep doing your shit. Don't just ignore me.
You good, bro. But so I noticed like how he was on this TV. He spoke about him being on a TV show, and he would go on like walks, like by himself, and he would be alone with his thoughts.
Oh, Street Jesus, the God.
Street Jesus.
I heard this. Yeah, I heard this.
And so
he needed that.
And I've heard it for a while. Like Conor McGregor, before he became who he is, he was isolated and just determined to be where he's at now. And somewhere along the way, he lost sight of that, you know. But thankfully, he gained it back, or whatever we want to say. But
I mean, to a degree, that he's very successful. Obviously, not just being popular. He's also, I mean, he trash talks a lot, but you know, he has a successful business and he markets himself, but it all comes from that self-determination.
Right. And
Mm-hmm.
bro, just isolating, like isolating yourself, not putting yourself in solitude, but just isolating yourself. So I kind of told myself, like, this is the perfect time. Like, I don't have to be around anyone. I can't be around anyone.
100%.
Even people that are around me, like, that I don't know are like doing this, like when they're seeing me. And so I was like, this is the perfect time for me to get back to this, because there was one point in my life where I think I was getting ready for my third fight and I was by myself. I had just gone through a breakup, but I was like, you know what? Fuck this breakup. Like, I don't give a shit about this. I'm focused on this fight and making money. And so I kind of knew the power of isolation, but I didn't appreciate it like I do now. And so I will go to Blydenburg. I'll ride my bike to Blydenburg, or I'll go to a hike and just get lost. Straight up, I'll get lost. Like, I'll put my phone on airplane mode and I'm like, all right, Jay, let's see what happens. But in the process, like, I'll speak to myself and I'll tell myself. So before I even get into that, there's like 3 stages in our minds, you know, for myself.
The whole rundown.
I always love it
Yeah.
when he fucking gets in his bag, because he's just like, you just shut up and listen.
It's just important, though. It's important because I feel like a lot of people can benefit from these conversations.
100%.
And, you know, I'm sorry. Like, I know. Yeah, and like, that's why I definitely want to have this conversation. Like, I know we do a whole bunch of like dick jokes and we just like fuck around and clown each other and whatever, like laugh a lot more. But I think it's also important to have these conversations because it's really life changing to people.
They need to be said. They need to be acknowledged, because without it, we fall into this mush where we don't know who the fuck we are anymore. We sacrifice ourselves to make other people around us happier, or like our image on social media. And I agree 100% with what you're saying and what you're about to say. It's like fucking, like, you talk to yourself and you realize what makes you click. You know, like, you realize, who the fuck am I? Who's Joe? Who's Tony? Who's Jeremiah?
Straight
like,
up.
okay, who the fuck are you? You know, are you going to be someone that just stays in bed all day crying because, like, or not crying, but like, you know, just being sad because you can't, like, you know what I'm saying? There's all this unnecessary bullshit or smoke that you don't need. And the moment, like, I love this quarantine because as much as I want to hang out with my bros, my girls, and hang out in the, you know, where, like, all the distractions, like, this time alone is so crucial and so beneficial. So a lot of self-growth for everybody. And I love talking to you motherfuckers. It makes you realize, like, yo, why am I not running at 6 a.m.? Like, why am I not doing you? You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, cool. I work 9 to 6.
Exactly.
Clock out.
You say, I don't like waking up early.
And it's just that voice. It's the voice telling me, like, nah, bro, stay in that bed. Stay warm and comfy. Don't worry about it. Just.
And bro, that voice, you gave it the momentum it has now, you know? And I told that to myself. I was like, it's not hard to turn your clock off and to put your feet on the floor. It's just because we've made it hard for so long that's just what is normal. That's our lifestyle, you know, and not knowing that we chose that lifestyle. And so, what I was saying before.
We don't, real quick, I'm sorry. We don't have all the fucking answers. What we have is transparency. What we have is us trying to give you a different view on things. Is us trying to help you while we help ourselves. So this whole platform was built on that. So I'm sorry if this is not the most like peachy, laughy, like old jokes conversation, but it's something that is important. I really feel like people can benefit from this. As somebody, i.e. me, Dro, who are trying to change our lives with this podcast and when like just everyday life shit. As somebody, we're just giving it to you the way it is. Like right now, this is how I'm feeling in life, and having a conversation with Jay is really helping me on that journey. And as I said, 8,000 times on this podcast alone, this shit's not easy. But you know, these are the internal things. And for anybody going through like a funk, this is for you guys. This is like we're trying to provide different like opinions and yo, who the fuck? We're just 3 motherfuckers. Y'all figure shit the fuck out.
Right,
so, if you can just be open to listening to people and hearing other people's stories, you never know what the fuck happened. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. And that's something that I noticed. I always would say something, even if it was just like not right. It was just first.
Yeah.
Or just like someone will say something and it was like, well, what about this? And I wasn't even devil's advocate. That was just me being a piece of shit. But
So
I agree, man. Like,
this
like
step when you got lost.
exactly. But like we've made it hard for ourselves, you know, because we've in choosing not to choose to do something that'll make us grow still brings us the repercussions of it. You know, like us not waking up early, you know, becomes a habit. Us hitting the snooze button becomes a habit, to the point where it's just like, you ever do something that's bad for you, but you're just so accustomed to doing it that you're like, boom, you do it without even thinking. Like that's bad. You know, like I used to do that. Like my alarm would go off, without even looking, I'd hit the snooze button because I knew exactly where it was.
Yeah,
You
it
know,
could
and
be
then
for everything. It could be waking up late. It could be eating bad. It could be
it could
hanging
be
with the
eating
wrong
bad.
crowd. It could be drug use. It's literally everything.
Oh, bro, with people, the one thing that I was so fucking sick of myself was I felt bad for outgrowing certain people that didn't feel bad for staying the same.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and so like my boys, certain people in my life, we would talk about the same girls, we would talk about the same things, we would talk about shoes, and I was just like, yo, there's so much more to life. Like I need to push away from them. And then when I was doing so, they were like, oh, you forgot where you were from, blah, 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 blah. I was like, I didn't forget where I'm from. I'm just moving from where I'm from to where I want to be.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. Yo,
wrong with that.
I swear my mother, bro, I had this conversation. Shout out my boy. Shout out Will, man. I love you so much. We had this conversation last night, bro. It's just inevitable though. It's just, if you're not in that type of time, and it's okay. Like you can listen to this and think everything we're saying is bullshit. I believe everybody's is
Entitled to their own opinion.
entitled to their own opinion, entitled to their own way of
100%.
life. So by no means take this right like we're trying to like know everything or try to tell you how to live your life. No, we're just telling you what we're personally going through and how we're gonna try to get out of it. But outgrowing people, that's inevitable when you're growing.
That's a highly debated topic though, because they take that very negative. Like,
Yeah.
It's not though.
You
And like I can have love for somebody. I really can have so much love for somebody, but if I just personally grow as a person, I'm gonna be over here with it, and I still love you. I don't like you. I don't love you any less, but it's just not convenient. At some point, you have to be selfish, and I know it sounds fucked up, but it's not convenient for me to be around you because it's impacted me in a negative way. You know what I'm saying? So I try to, and I'm not too much with a lot of random people. Like the people I have around me, like that I really choose to be around are positive influences in one way or another. And it's funny because a lot of the people, especially I'm thinking about, don't have any interest in this podcast shit, don't have any interest in this fucking entertainment shit, don't have any interest in anything I do. But there's a mindset. There's a certain mindset that they have. There's a need to grow more. There's an itch to learn more. I hang out. I'm always the dumbest people. I'm always the dumbest. I like to think I'm like the dumbest person around, like the certain people I have in my mind right now. I'm not the brightest one, but I surround myself because I want to learn more. I want to have different opinions around me. I want to talk about stocks. I don't know nothing about shit. So I want to so I try to surround myself around this. And you can't feel bad, bro. Like there's motherfuckers I love. They're my brothers that I don't see. And they're just on a different type of time. And it is what it is.
It isn't. Bro, again, you can't feel bad for outgrowing people that don't feel bad for staying the same, man, because if you hang around
it sounds
people,
so much harsher than it is, but it's crucial.
It is,
life.
but that's what it is, man. You know, we're not here like we're not ice cream parlor men. You know, we're not here to please everybody. I
just feel like a dick sometimes, like,
bro.
It's
But that's the thing. that's the thing. They don't feel like a dick.
Yeah, I mean, it's internal conversation. You do what you want to do. You do what makes you feel good. And the moment you open your eyes and this beautiful picture turns black and white, you're like, oh shit, this is not what I thought it was. Like, this was dope at a time when I was growing up and learning, you know, because there's gonna be that initial group that like opens your eyes to the world, and then you step out of it, you're like, oh shit, this is not what all life could be. There's more to it. There's people I could surround myself with that can keep me motivated and push myself to be a harder working individual. There's other people that can put me on game with finances, and but you only learn that by self conversation with oneself. You know, that's really where that comes from.
Yeah, man, and just like who I am when I'm training, like I had to become that some bitch. You know, I had to tell myself, like in the beginning, I always told myself, like, this isn't gonna get better. You know, the 10 minutes of jumping rope is not going to get better. The warm-up's not going to get better. The rounds we're going to do on pads, not going to get better. The sparring, not going to get better. But I will. If you just push a little bit more, Jeremiah. Good. Your calves are cramping up. Good. Keep going. Because that means the work just fucking began. And so that's the Muhammad Ali method. But once I felt my calves start to cramp, I was like, don't you fucking quit. Like, you bitch. This is where you would quit, and this is why you will not grow.
Jesus Christ.
Yo, and like when you see me like jumping rope and I'm looking right at myself, I'm like, this weak piece of shit is gonna be a strong motherfucker by the end of this class. Like, I'm gonna be the first one to skip rope. I'm gonna be the first. I will try to be the first and only person that goes all 10 minutes without sweating. I'm going to be the first person that's hitting pads. I'm going to be the first person that when the coach says 10 right kicks, 10 left kicks, not only am I going to be the first one to start, but I'm going to be the first one done. And then I'm going to do everything else that's after, you know? But
it's funny because like, people will hear this and like, or like, it's easy for that to be confused for arrogance, and it's not.
Yeah, man.
Really, you just want for yourself, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
And like, even like just being around you, and like I remember we went running once, and I don't fucking run like that. So like I'm over here trailing at the end, and everybody do the thing. But when him and Mel were done, they ran back to go get me, and somebody else that was running. It's just like
Andrew.
Yeah, being around people that motivate you is important.
Push you.
Because then you come back and they're mad encouraging. It's mad, you bro, like yo, like don't stop, like. And they come back and like, no, don't stop. And there's just no like judgment. There's no I'm better than you. It's like, yo, I'm gonna help you get better, and we get the shit together. So it's like important to surround yourself with people like that. And if you don't have that person around you, then start within. Start within and find it for yourself. And eventually, you're gonna see yourself branch out, and you're gonna meet somebody, or you're gonna be around a certain, you know, crowd of people eventually once you start seeking that, and it'll come.
Funny you say that, because there was a quote, I forgot who said it, but it said, if you're the smartest person in your group, get a new group.
Word.
You know, so
it's real though.
That's fish in a small pond versus like the ocean or some shit, you know. Like.
Exactly. You know, so when I was going through whatever, or I was trying to learn, I was like, let me say less, because if I just keep talking, I'm saying what I already know, you know. And I'm not talking about like when we're doing stuff like this, like if I'm having a normal conversation with somebody, I've learned to kind of like dial it back on my talking, so that way I can learn something, even if it's something positive or one thing. Like, I'll let people ramble that tell me what I'm doing is this, what I'm doing is wrong, blah blah blah. Like, you're not, like, it's bad for you to run this much, blah blah blah. Oh, you shouldn't be doing this. And then, you know, they're out of shape telling me what I should be doing. And like, I'll listen, so that way I'm like, all right, I'm gonna learn how to not be this person. Like, this person's teaching me how not to be like them. You know,
listening is a beautiful trait too.
Huge thing, man. But it took me so long to shut the fuck up and to listen. To be honest,
that's what I'm saying, bro. Like, you gotta go through that, and like, again,
have to.
You can listen to this shit and be like, oh, you know, like, this is cool. It's just not me, and that's perfectly fine. This is not a right way of life.
Mm-hmm.
It's just what feels right for us.
It's just a different. It's just a different.
for anybody. Yeah,
It's cool
like
seeing different people live their lives. Like, you know, the way that you both speak. It's always interesting to understand other people's point of views of certain subject matter.
yeah, like and you know for shit like this, you know, am I always 24/7 on some like self-help trying to like you have your times and of
Nah.
course it's always good to have a balance and you know luckily the people I have around me we can bullshit and then we can also have those conversations we can have those tough conversations or like learning conversations or I can shut the fuck up like he said and learn from the people around me. It's all about balance, bro,
Yeah,
Kind
and
of.
that's something I've learned is
and
to just
wanting
shut the
that.
fuck. Is
Jeremiah,
to just
what's up with them 4 tips though? I think you were about to drop some gems before. Hook
bro,
you up. There you go. Is it
bro.
three? Is it 3 or 4?
It's 3,
All right,
and
3.
so it's 3 in 1. And so there's like 3 stages to one's life. You know, when they know nothing, when they learn, and then when they put what they learn into practice. But how I made that, like, I made me understand it was, I was like, damn, you know, I get lost in my thoughts as if me and my thoughts were in a revolving door. You know, it's just me and my thoughts going around. We're talking about the same thing, you know, and I'm looking at the same negative thoughts. And, you know, some good thoughts go out, a lot of bad thoughts go out. But I was like, shit, I'm just lost in this revolving door in my life with my own thoughts to where I see, although everything may look externally different, but to its core, it's the same. And so when I realized that, I was like, oh shit, let me step out this revolving door. And then when you step out the revolving door, you're getting hit by the heavy traffic. You know,
Oh
like I was
my,
getting
hold
hit with,
this.
I was getting hit with like the negative thoughts or the positive thoughts and everything. I was just overwhelmed with everything. So I jumped back into the revolving door and I was like, wait, if I'm going to grow, I need to acknowledge that I'm in the revolving door. I need to hold myself accountable that I'm getting lost with my thoughts. So let me step back and let me focus on what thoughts I can let in, what thoughts to let out. So, for example, I'll have like stupid arguments with people over things that didn't even happen. Well, I used to. And so I'll be like, well, no, this is why you're wrong. Da-da-da-da. And then when in this quarantine, like I'd have an argument with myself about fuck all. And then I would purposely stop myself and be like, are you fucking done? You whiny little bitch. I was like, who are you talking to? I was like, you're talking to fucking nobody, creating headaches for yourself. Good job, Jeremiah. Good job. How do you fucking feel? And I just like that. And then I was like, damn, that was me getting lost in the revolving door.
Right.
You know, but now I stepped back and that's kind of like my security, you know, stopping those negative thoughts from coming in and letting the good thoughts come in.
Right.
You know, so when I tell myself like, yo, you want to shut the fuck up and stop being a whiny bitch, that's me acknowledging all the thoughts or like my negative thoughts. And I was like, how about we think something good? What's something that happened yesterday or that's happened in life or something we can celebrate? And so then I started thinking like, shit, you know, like I have 2 fucking legs that work. I can go run. I ran. Oh, cool. I did this. And it was like, good. And then again, you know, like we're not human. So I got lost in the revolving door again. And then my security guard of my mind pulled me out. And then it came to a point where I was just going through my days and I was just like, yo, like I'm not thinking about anything, but I feel good. You know, guys, give me 1 second. I'm sorry.
Some heavy duty shit we're having today, man.
I know, man. I was ready to drop a Dexter reference, but I'm gonna wait till you get back.
Yo, it's crazy because like, but these are the conversations that we having, bro. Like, these are the conversations I be having with myself in my mind. I'm just like,
these are the comments that we wanted to make a podcast because I feel like I never see some shit like this. I see motherfuckers give their opinions on trending topics and subject matter, but it's like I get like I get fucking hard when niggas explain their mental. Like I love that shit. I love when I figure out what makes you
you
tick.
nasty.
Oh yeah, you already know, baby. Like what makes you you? How the fuck are you so driven? How the fuck are you so artistic? how do you get by life without caring about what people say or critique your art? And it's crazy to hear other people's opinions, and I don't see that enough, honestly, man. And I love that.
I
And the
love this
reason why I feel like
conversation.
we don't see it a lot in men is because it's not a masculine thing to do. You know,
100%.
like
It's ego.
someone,
100% ego.
yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of it. A lot of it. It's ego, but
It's just that if you're not on this type of time, you're not on this type of time. This is what it comes down to. But that's okay too,
wait, I
though.
have to cut you off, and I have to cut you off. Someone
That's
told me
okay.
they're like, bro, I'm in a different time, and I was like, motherfucker, it's 2019. Like I'm standing right in front of you on this day. Like it's not a different time. I was like, you just need to get with the program. You just need to get with the program. Huh?
People are just mentally just not on it.
Yeah, and bro, it's not the time. It's where they put themselves. You know, again, this goes back to the limitations that we put on ourselves. It's like, damn, like when this gets better in my life, I'll do this. When this gets better, when, you know, I have this, I'll do that. When this happens, you know, and I was doing that, and it was like, yo, but my dad, and I thank my dad so much. Dad, if you're watching this, thank you. He called me. He told me.
Yo, if he does watch this, shout out to your dad, man.
Yeah, he told me, he's like, I have such great goals, but I'm winging it to get them. Like I'm just getting by. Like I'm skimming the surface. And that's why a lot of what I was going through was hard on myself. Like I made it hard on myself because I was skimming by. You know, like one thing I always stressed was before I got anything, like I had to pay for anything, I always checked my bank account. And sometimes I still do, but not as much. But there was times where I was like, shit, you know, let me pull over to the side next to this Goya beans and make sure I got whatever amount of money to buy whatever, you know, and I hated that. And then when my dad told me that I was just winging it, I thought about all those times, and it was like, well, I didn't do everything to my capability. So I can't blame where I'm at right now on then, because right now is where I'm at. And I've got so much anxiety from just thinking about the past and how I failed and I fucked myself over. And it was like, but that's not doing anything for me. I can use that as fuel, but then that's it. Use it as fuel. Boom, that fire is lit. Boom, on to the next fucking thing. That's what I told myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but what I was saying before about the 3 stages, like we're lost in the revolving door, and then there's the security guard. And then at one point when I had accepted all of that, like genuinely accepted, and I looked at myself in the mirror and it was like, Jeremiah, this is where you're at financially. This is where you're at spiritually, mentally, and physically, because you got yourself here, 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 and here. Like I got myself here financially, physically, all of that. And it was like, but what I do now going forward can help me, because I have all this knowledge in how to make money through social media, you know, how to fight, how to do this. And it was like, but not, there was a quote I saw by Lao's Tao or something. And it was, he said, knowledge is treasure, but practice is key. And so I was like, shit, like if I'm really about my shit and I really want to grow in all 4 areas of my life, granted, it's not all 4, none of it's going to be perfect. You know, I have the physical, the mental down packed, but it's time for me to take action on, you know, like more spiritual stuff. Not more spiritual, but like making sure my money's right, you know?
Right.
And so I told myself that, and it wasn't until I realized that I was lost in the revolving door where I was like, shit, I got to step back. I got to be the security guard of the revolving door. And then that only means that security guard is guarding one guy, and that is the person that we can truly be when we fully accept ourselves, like our goods and our bads. Am I the greatest like person to be in a relationship? Absolutely not, because I just can't be tied down right now. You know, I'm a man on a mission, and like Jay-Z said in Can I Live? Holes will get you sidetracked and clap from close feet. So I was like, I need to
This man went from
focus
quoting
myself.
Proverbs to fucking Jay-Z. I love it.
Yeah, but it's true, you know? And I tell my other boys, I'm like, yo, just because I don't have a girl and I can go run doesn't mean that you can't. I was like, you can go run when your girl's sleeping. I was like, me, I just don't have anyone that's like, oh, you're gonna go run. And then I hear it later. Like, I remember I was with one girl and she was like, oh, you're gonna go run, but what about me? What the fuck about you? You ain't even here in my life right now, you know?
Yeah.
And so, but then that only leaves us with one person, and that's the guy who's chilling in the penthouse. That's like, yo, I don't have to worry about my thoughts. I don't have to worry about this. I'm focused on making sure this is good, you know? So I found that the revolving door is where a lot of people are. And I found myself there too. And I know for a fact I'll be there again, because again, we're all human.
It's a constant balance. You can't
It is.
like, I meant to say this before when you stepped out, but it's funny how you say the revolving door, that you use that as an example, because I have something similar to that I never really looked at it from that lens, which is awesome. So I thank you for sharing that. I look at shit like, have you ever seen Dexter? This is gonna be a wild reference.
Yeah.
So
I've seen it, but not like thoroughly.
You don't gotta be crazy. I think as long as you've seen like season 1 or 2. So he makes reference to this dark passenger, right? So long story short, if you don't know fucking Dexter, first off, go see the first 2 seasons. They're like the best. He mentions the dark passenger, and there's this dark energy inside of him that is the serial killer of him. And whatever, don't take it word for word, but I use it as like, at home, day to day, I always have a dark passenger, and that person feeds me negative bullshit. That's that big voice. That's the one that tells me, stay here, don't work too hard, don't post your photos or your projects as criticism, you're not that great. And it wasn't until, honestly, I feel like this past year that I really I took the time to really listen to my dark passenger and acknowledge that their presence is always going to be with me. But I let them ride shotgun. I let them talk all that negative bullshit. I let them make me think that I feel bad. But then there comes a point where you just listen and you just don't accept. I don't accept my dark passenger anymore. Before, I used to always feed into it, and I used to downplay myself and not allow myself to shine bright. And it really wasn't until this past year where I'm like, I'm cool now. I'm at one with myself. It could be because of this quarantine. I really don't know what the fuck got me here, honestly, but I'm okay with having this negative person inside my brain. I've come to terms with it, that I'm going to live with this person probably for the rest of my life. But
that motherfucker's not going anywhere.
It never. And I try to suppress it.
Everyone.
I try to kill him. I try to shoot him in the head, and he just comes back the next day, maybe the next hour.
It's a zombie.
Exactly. And it's like, nah, bro, like, this person's a part of me. Unfortunately, I don't want it to be as big as it is, but it is. It's always in my brain. It's always making me sad. Second think things, and even darker thoughts. And it's like now I'm just like, yo, like, you know what? Like, you're just, this room, it's me and my dark passenger. Like, always. He's never gonna go away. And it's like, now I've just allowed myself to shine bright, and I've allowed myself to work harder, because it's like, there's always going to be that person there, and I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to take his word for it anymore. It's like, I'm going to do what the fuck I want to do. I want to be that dude in the penthouse who's able to get all those things. And I'm only able to get there if I actually put in the effort and actually put into practice all my teachings and learnings, you know? And it's just crazy. Like, once you figure out that you're in a revolving door and that you have a passenger next to you, it's like, yo, what can I do? I can do everything I want to do. I just got to apply it. I got to apply myself.
And bro, it's funny you say the dark passenger, because whenever, you know, I'll use that whenever my dark passenger would say something, like when I would argue with myself over arguments that I never had with people that I never talked to, or people I didn't talk to, I would just be like, yo, shut up. That's how I started out. It was just like, I'd hear the thoughts and I'd like, yo, shut up. I'm like, you shut up. You shut the fuck up and sit the fuck down, because daddy's got to work. Daddy's got to work. Yeah. And I just feel, I feel so much better because I took control over that situation.
Wow. The fuck out of him.
Exactly. But I acknowledged that he was there, but instead of just letting him pass on through, I was like, no, you sit down and you watch the show that you don't want to happen. You know, because that's to put it into layman's terms for people, it's like that's our comfort zone, like speaking, you know, that's us like
that makes you
itching
the
to get
everyday
better.
person. Yeah, like that person or that revolving door is like that's what makes you regular.
Yeah, man.
You know,
And
like
people, you're gonna
Jesus.
be in
fade
that
to black,
revolving door.
fade to black. You're just the background noise. And the moment you fucking tell them to shut him or her, whoever the entity, you tell them to shut the fuck up. Let me do what I gotta do. That's when you become you.
Yo, and that's when they like they just do this, like,
Bro, this is all the shit I fucking like. I'm not gonna say no more, man. This is shit I be on. This is shit I be shot. This is shit I need in my life, just like, cause there's no secret, man. I'm trying to change my life. There's a lot of things that, you know, you just gotta be honest with yourself, and a lot of things you gotta improve, and everything that we say, man. If you can relate,
that part right there, being honest with yourself, that 100% I think is the key.
And there was a time in my life where I was like, I'm truthful to myself. Like, yeah, I tell it, but it's one thing to tell yourself, and it's one thing to like tell yourself, put it through like stories in your life, and then to be like, I see what that means. Because people have told me, one thing my dad always told me was that I smelled bad because of my training. You know, he was like, yo, you're training, you're this, you're that. And I was just so like, well, I'm supposed to smell bad, I'm training. And I was like, well, here I am 2 hours after I'm training and I'm still in the clothes that I'm in. And it was like, so here I am like saying like, oh, I'm supposed to smell bad, but I'm not supposed to because the training's done, you know. But I made it harder on myself, just being like, oh, well, I know I'm supposed to do this. I'm supposed to smell bad. Like, this is what hard work smells like. And I was like, all right, well, now I'm resting. I'm not supposed to smell like shit, you know? So it was like a scenario like that where I was just like, oh, you know, I've been in my own way. I've been in the revolving door fighting a battle by myself. Like, I have a blindfold on and I have a sword and I'm swinging in an empty field telling myself that I'm winning. And it was just like that false sense of, that false illusion felt like it was life for me, when in actuality, it was just like, you're getting nowhere, man. And then it wasn't until I stopped and to just be like, I'm even getting emotional a little bit right now because it's like, it's so empowering when you realize that off decisions you made and decisions you don't make will put you in wherever you're at. You know, whether it's, you know, I decided to eat bad, you know, or I decided to not do this, or like when something happens to me, I'm like, I can either acknowledge it or ignore it. And if I acknowledge it, it can put me somewhere. But even if I don't do it, there's still a repercussion for me not doing it. And so that was me realizing that I'm the security guard, you know, in that situation. Like, shit, can I let this through? Can I let this go? Can I let this through, or can I let this go? But it's so,
it's rewarding.
It is, but it's so, when you do it to yourself, when you actually sit back and like look in myself in the mirror, when I've sat back and I looked myself in the mirror, I wasn't looking at the person that was looking back. I was looking at the soul. I was looking
raw energy,
like in my own eyes. Like, I wasn't looking at, you know, because during this quarantine, like, I got fat, I got a little overweight, but I wasn't mad at what I looked like. I was mad at what I looked like in my mind, because I was like, holy shit, like, I'm letting myself go mentally. Like, I'm not focused on this, I'm not focused on that, I'm not doing this. And I was just like,
damn, hit me with the feels right now, bro.
Yeah, man, no one wants to hear it, you know. This is shit people run away from, and it's like, you're gonna fucking keep on running.
Say it again. People run away from that shit.
People
definitely
run away from it.
I don't run, man, but I run away from that.
Yeah, yo, me too, man. But all that running, you can do all that running, and then you realize, oh shit, I'm wearing a backpack full of it. So it's like you're not running away from it. You're just running with
catch
it.
up. It'll catch up to you eventually.
Yeah.
All of that shit will drag you
Yep.
down or the people around you. And that's I guess the saddest part of it is like when you try to evade it or run away from it, motherfucker, the moment you stop, and you will stop, we all stop at one point, the shit just comes right. Like you have to address it. It doesn't matter if you're 18, 16, 25, 35, like you need to address it or else that shit just lingers. And it's so fucking frustrating and it's so annoying. And then the moment that you're like, you wake up and you realize what the situation is that's when you can actually grow. And I think you said it before, like acknowledging the situation, like, yo, like I'm not happy or I'm this way because of that. And like the moment you realize that and you actually, you know, that's the moment you can actually break out of that. That you don't always have to run away from shit. Like you can address it head on. And the moment that you address it, you can move past it and it won't interfere with you anymore.
And bro, and when you face it head on, you realize, holy shit, I was stronger than this.
It's like fucking when you're scared of like the water and then you stand in it and the shit's like shallow. It's exactly the same kind of concepts.
Or like when I told myself, I was like, I can't run more than 5 miles. Like, holy shit, Jay, you want to run this? And I was like, as if I was going to catastrophically explode at 5.01 miles.
Oh, word.
I wasn't even, I did the 6 and I wasn't even sore the next day, but I didn't even look at that. I looked at the 6 miles and it was like, what else have I held myself back from that isn't as much of a challenge as I made it out to be? And I was just like, holy shit, with relationships, with my relationship with my dad, you know, I made hard. I always complained like I didn't have this with my dad. And it was like, well, what am I doing to not have that? You know, what am I doing? Or what am I not doing? You know, am I contributing? Am I not contributing? Am I asking to hang out? Am I not asking to hang out? You know, or just like with my boys, or like when this whole thing happened, I was just like, yo, Jay, we can either, on the path I'm on right now, and this was like in the first week, I was like, we're going to be this piece of shit that we have worked so hard not to be. And we're just going to be back at square one. And that's no one's fault. I can't say, oh, well, you know, it's quarantine. Like, quarantine got me fat. Quarantine isn't a person with a gun to my head, like, eat that sandwich. You know, that's me. Or that's me eating that. That's me. And granted, yo, me too, man. Yo, what is it? Jersey Mike's?
Oh, that's my shit.
Yo, I did a delivery for them. I went there and I was like, what the fuck is this shit? Yo, they're good. And so, but then again, like, I don't give into temptation 100%. I give into it. Like I mentioned to you guys, I have ice cream and cookies and chips that I got when I got all my healthy food. But I kind of, instead of indulging in it, because once I indulge, that's when I lose control. I lose the steering wheel. When I can kind of like navigate through life, like through the hard shit, and still appreciate the things that feel good, you know, that feel right, like eating cookies or, you know, like busting a nut or whatever. Like if I can give into that for that moment and realize that that moment is just that moment, and then I have to move past that moment, is when I started to really.
Yeah, that was well said.
Yeah, thank you, man. That's when I realized, like, holy shit, you know, cookies aren't the problem. It's me.
And
you know,
you
it's
really
not
apply that to everything, like
everything. Social media,
drug usage, social media, like that's. Yeah, I don't even want to get too into it.
Right? Like, yeah, I don't even, man.
Because it's like you have motherfuckers like, oh, why do you smoke? It's like, I want to smoke. Like, I want to do this. I understand what I'm doing. Like, I'm not letting this control my life anymore. I'm not letting this control me. Like, because no one's going to be 100% perfect. That's no perfection is nothing. Like, you can never reach perfection. You can just do the best that you can today and then strive to improve every day. And it's just like, I don't know. I love that mindset because it's like, the moment that you're like, why am I doing what I'm doing? Like, I'm, you know, I have my vices. I smoke my hookah. I do my other thing. And it's like, I want to do that. I've come into contact with myself. I speak to myself and I know why I'm doing it because I maybe enjoy it or I like the momentary, but I don't let it become a habit. I don't let it deter me from the path of greatness that I want to set for myself and being a better human being a better boyfriend, being a better a best friend. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't let that shit control you and then make you into a bad or worse person. That's you. At the end of the day, the cookies and shit ain't telling you to be fat. The fucking quarantine isn't telling you to stay home and be a lazy sack of shit. You need to address yourself. Have a conversation with yourself for real. If you cry, fuck it, cry. You're supposed to cry.
I've cried so many times.
I'm a shower crier.
The shit that I said to myself.
I'm a way to work crier.
Yo, there's times I've cried right before.
I'm a big on the way to work crier.
I love crying on my way to work.
There's like that moment of reflection if like you're in traffic in the morning or whatever, where you're just like thinking about your life and you're like, fuck.
Yeah, man. And the one thing I promised myself was I never want to die without a smile on my face. I whether it's like I'm chasing the dream as a fighter. Like, if I die tomorrow, I know the legacy of Jeremiah, although like I've tainted some aspects of my life because I'm not perfect. I have my own flaws, but my boys that seen me, they're like, yo, this motherfucker would run, but not only would he run, but he'd have a fucking smile on his face saying he ain't a bitch, or he'd be, like, that's something I always told myself. It was like, if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die doing something that I love, and most people, and most times I found myself like thinking like, shit, well, I looked back and it was like, damn, like had something happened where I wasn't training hard and then this happened, I would feel like such shit. Right. But because I kind of had that high momentum from training, I kind of was like, I hit like a little divot and then I was like, all right, let's pick it right back up. Because I noticed I'll hit a divot and then it's like, oh, well, let me go here. And that's just a flow with momentum. And so I literally wrote a while ago, I wrote what I wanted and what I have to do. And it was like, if I can't even do the requirements, the bare minimum, how dare I say I want this? So me as a fighter, it was like, if I'm going to call myself a fighter, I have to be running. I have to be taking classes. I have to be doing everything that I was doing.
Gotta put the work in.
Yeah, but then I was lacking in other areas of my life because I was like, shit, where's this money for rent going to come from? But it's a balance, and we all have to figure out how we can make things work,
compromises,
and understand that we're going to be in uncomfortable situations, but if we can adapt to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Love it. You should always be uncomfortable, man. Always. Like, at this point in my life, like, I'm just like, if I'm too comfortable, then like I'm doing something wrong. Because as you guys said, it's being the big fish in a small pond, or the group I'm in, like I have to outgrow it to a degree, like there always has to be some area of your life, and it doesn't always have to be friends or some shit. It could be anything, like your financial restrictions or goals, like, oh, I don't make as much. All right, put yourself out there more, social media, whatever, make more bread. Oh, I don't have enough people I know. All right, cool. Go to the city when this is all over, join events and socialize with people and get to know how other fighters became more poppin', how other social media people got more influence. You learn it by putting yourself in uncomfortable situations. And it's like the moment that you get your head out your ass or get out the revolving door or tell the dark passenger to shut the fuck up is when you're like, oh damn, like let me go do something that makes me really anxious and scared. And it's like, wow, you can grow so much from this. Who fucking knew? Who would have known?
And you never would have knew had you never tried.
Yeah. Instead of, yeah. Oh,
and that's what this whole podcast is about, dog. This whole journey.
That wrapped up very well. I can't even lie. That was a good. That came around full circle. That was pretty
good.
Oh,
I was just talking about the podcast and Simba Tumelo in general. But
that's what I mean. Just like the thing about the pod, or it shapes a person. It shapes a person's core. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you need to acknowledge this stuff to become the better version of you and to get to where you want to be. Like, you need to have those internal conversations. You need to have those conversations with your confidants, with your trusted advisors, with us, if it has to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to have these points of reflection and look at motherfuckers talking about it, because it's like it inspires you. Because it's like, I feel way more better now. I feel like I might have to wake up early tomorrow and do a fucking quick 2-mile run real quick right before work. You know what I'm saying? Like, because why the fuck not? You know,
Bro, I have nothing else to say.
And
I just feel like
boys, honestly, it just boils down to having the discipline to listen to the little voice that's gonna make you suffer the most. You know, like
it's rewarding.
like boys, it's fuck rewarding. Like you feel, yeah, like there's times where I do something where I never thought I'd do, and then I feel like, my dick just grew 2 more inches just because I did this. You know, where it was like, had I never tried this, I never would have felt this way. You know, like I was always timid and everything, but once I started doing things that made me feel uncomfortable and I got through it, I was like, yo, I painted such a wussy ass motherfucker in my mind. And I stopped myself from doing so much, to where it's like some of the stuff we tell ourselves is so it's so mediocre. It's so like why? You know, and then we don't realize it. I didn't realize it. I was like, why do I have to wake up and run? Like, why do I have to do this? Like, Mike Tyson's crazy for doing that. Oh, well, it's Mike Tyson that became this champion. It's this person that did this. And it was like, yo, that motherfucker's flesh and blood, just like me. You know, it's just the discipline and wanting to do it, wanting to do this, like knowing that it'll suck. But if I can get through something that is tough, that only means I'm tougher than this shit.
Right.
You know, and then you just get better. You put like with the 10-minute jump rope, man, like it took me a minute to even just feel comfortable at 5 minutes, let alone 10. But I was like, yo, like if I always stop here, one, I can't fucking call myself a fighter if I can't even push through the warm up. I you know, like I laughed at myself. I was just like, I told that to myself. I was like, how fucking pathetic am I?
damn.
You know, but then I was like, Jay, you can do this. Like, only you stopping yourself. And it was just like that. I was like, how fucking pathetic are you, Jeremiah? You can do this.
Right.
Like, let's go. And it was just like, I felt so bipolar in my mind where I was just like, you piece of shit. You stopped here. You can do this though. Good job. Let's go. Where it was just like, all right, let's do this. You know, but it was just like, I've made such like limitations of who and what I can do and become, and where has it brought us? You know, no one's ever been like, yo, thank God I stood in my comfort zone. I can't even say it with a straight face, you know, because I'll say that to myself, like, damn, if I keep doing what I'm doing where I feel comfortable, then I will never grow. And me, as someone who's trying to show people that you can become your own influencer to help others, it's like I have to become so hard on myself and so much of a cheerleader also, you know, because it's tough to get there and put the work and to start the work, and it's even tougher to go through the work all the way through the end. You know, from the first round of pads to the last round of pads, I'm giving each minute, each punch, each kick my absolute all. Where I've only become that motherfucker for like the past 2 years. And in this quarantine, I realized like some workouts I shouldn't even walked away from because I should have pushed harder.
Right.
You know, where there's times where there was like a few times where I pushed so hard where I legit started. You ever like see green dots, but they're not green dots?
Like
I've
stars.
seen black dots.
Yes, those stars. Like I would get to that point training, and I was like, then yeah, and that's when I would start to talk to myself, and it was just like, Jay, this is where we would bitch out.
And
you
gotta really
stop being a fucking pussy. Go through it. You know,
that brought me back. Yeah, those moments are very Daisy.
those, but see how quick they go away.
Yeah.
But then one thing I noticed is like we acknowledge that certain moments go away, yet we hold on to things that aren't true. You know, like we'll listen to like such shit in our mind, but we know that we've seen it, you know, like something happens and then it goes away, and then something happens and it goes away, and it's like we think, oh well, why can't this happen to me? And it's like you're probably in your own fucking way. Like here's an opportunity that probably presented itself to you. You didn't take it, and then it was like, all right, I'm gonna go to the next motherfucker, you know. And so it's all about just like what we're boiling it down to is like yourself. Like if you're stuck in the revolving door, you have to notice that. And it's taken, I'm only 25, and I just in this quarantine have realized like that I've been in the revolving door, even though like I may have done X, Y, and Z. You know, I'm still human, and I'm not trying to be perfect. If someone's trying to be perfect, you're gonna run a race that has no ending, my friend.
Right, yeah.
You know, so the only thing I tell myself is, what did I do yesterday? Can I do more today in any way? Whether it was yesterday, I think I rode to Blydenburg. I told you guys I did the bike ride. And it was like today, I was like, shit, all right, today I can work on financial. Like I can do this, I can do that. Boom, I did it. And then tomorrow I was like, all right, Jay, we got to run and we got to work out, because today we didn't do as much working out. But I know tomorrow I'm going to push harder than I did today in the physical. And so that's why what I've realized is there's no real rest day. Like when people say they want to rest, like rest when you're resting, but you always have an opportunity to work on something, whether it's financial,
Not even physical,
spiritual, mental, or physical.
Yeah.
You know, like yesterday I did the miles. Today I worked on financial. Tomorrow I'll do something physical and
like
mental.
You have, God forbid, an injury or something that prevents you from doing something. All right, I'll take it as an opportunity to learn to practice something else that I don't discipline enough. You know, like
bro, I'm gonna cut you off right there. Look at the quarantine.
Yeah.
Here's an opportunity for us to be with ourselves. And
I view like physical health was here before, because I was hitting the gym. I was getting muscular.
Right.
My mental was here, and now with quarantine, it's like my mental acuity is 100, and then my physical peak is like down here, because I am getting chubbier, definitely. But I feel that 100%. But what were you about to say?
I don't even know. What were we talking about right before that?
Motherfuckers got lost in the fucking sauce. I haven't said a fucking word in 1 hour because I've just been taking all this.
You've just been listening. Be a sponge, bro.
It is.
Mood music. Look at you. You're in a room. Blue lights, purple lights. I don't even know what kind of lights those are.
You see me, man? It's been beautiful, bro. Like, I appreciate you. We gotta cut this off right here, man. They don't, these conversations like this really bring you into such a fucking place, and it brings me to a fucking place where I just shut the fuck up and, like you said, listen. And I don't really want to get in my fucking super bag because we go on for hours about this shit, bro.
Hours.
Hell yeah, man. Thank you.
I appreciate that from everyone. You
guys.
Thank you for being open.
Yeah.
Dro, thank you for being open. I was being open. It is what it is. This is what we're trying to do, and if you can just be open-minded and taking a different approach, and everything that Jeremiah was saying, if you can have that open mind to at least explore, then congratulations to you. If not, and if you feel like this is just a complete waste of your time, and you feel like what we said today was all dumb, then that's love to you too, man.
I hope you have a great day then.
Exactly. As that's you, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. So, Jeremiah, thank you. Tell these motherfuckers where they can follow you, or training, all that, whatever you got going on.
You trying to get right? Hit this man up.
If you want to train, or you just want to see more about me, you can go on my Instagram. I'm not on it right now. I'm taking this time to still be by myself with my thoughts, so that way I can come back a much stronger
active,
Jeremiah.
Though, right? Huh? It's still gonna be active though, like the account.
Yeah, like It's Jeremiah, JERIMIAH _KidFlash _Vega, VEGA. And that's my IG. I don't go on what's the one with the ghost? Snapchat, yeah. Or Facebook. I don't really go on those. But
So IG is where you can find you?
Yeah. If you really want to see a lot about Jeremiah, you get there. And before we even cut out, I just want to tell you guys and the audience, like, listen, I'm nobody. I'm absolutely no one. I'm not a professional fighter.
Yeah, neither
I'm not like this God, nor do I think I am, nor do I really want to be. I'm just simply someone who, like us all, went through life's experiences, but saw that I made myself out to be a victim more so than to be my own savior. And for anyone that like really wants to start their journey, if you can accept the fact that it's gonna suck, it's not the journey's gonna suck, but the accountability that you'll undergo, and in accepting and realizing that you have played the victim card, that's the tough part. You know, because that was the tough part for me, to be like, yo, I've been a victim my whole fucking life, and that's why I haven't gotten anywhere. You know, so, and not to even say like my life has flourished, but I know for a fact I can do a lot of physical things that most people can't do, because I made myself stop being the victim. I call myself a fucking bitch when I want to stop, you know, like, you got to do shit like that. Whatever works for you, you know. It may not work for someone. It may not work for Ann. It may not work for Dro, but what Dro or Ann does may not work for me.
Right.
Who gives a fuck? What works for you works for you, and that's it. If what you're doing is helping you get better, and you're not shitting on others, like, I'm not saying like, oh, fuck these guys. Like, it's like, you just do it for yourself, and then you doing for yourself, like genuinely accepting yourself and knowing what you want to do and working towards it, will help you, but more importantly, will be a beacon of hope for other people. And that's what life's really all about.
Man,
couldn't even send it better myself. God damn. Snaps.
No, Simply Too Mellow. If you had the chance to listen to this, we appreciate you. We love you. Share this with somebody, because somebody might need it. If not you, you heard.
100%.
So we love y'all. Catch up.
Just follow Simply Too Mellow. You will not be disappointed if you follow Simply Too Mellow, man. Like that girl Token Nation, I almost bought like 5 shirts.
Yeah,
those
bro.
shirts
Shout
are
out to Lexi.
fire,
Shout out to Lexi Peters.
No, once I saw her, I was like, what is this? And I looked on the shirts. I was like, yo, this shit is lit as fuck.
That's what it is, man. You just highlight, you know, you highlight. Like, I just love meeting new people. It's fucking awesome, you know. Like, I'm happy that I have Anthony in my life, and he introduced me to you, and it's dope. Like, it's great conversation, and it's great mental insight. It's beautiful.
Vice versa, man. You know, I appreciate Anthony, and I appreciate Anthony for introducing me to you and to Vin. And I hope he's well and safe and everything.
He's doing this right now. Just being his fucking meat.
I didn't know. I thought
he was milking himself. He was rolling dice. I thought he was
rolling dice and milking himself.
All right, man. Love y'all. Catch y'all next week.
Love y'all too.
Peace.